You know that feeling? That certain heaviness you might get, maybe when the winter months drag on? Well, what if that weight wasn't just seasonal? What if it felt more like a constant, silent companion? Today, we're diving into a really powerful visual metaphor that was created to help us understand exactly that feeling, the black dog of depression.
It's such a personal and honestly an isolating feeling, isn't it? You could be surrounded by all the good things in life, but there's still this shadow you just can't seem to shake. It completely drains your energy, it muffles your joy, and it is incredibly hard to explain to someone who's never felt it themselves. And this isn't just some random saying. It's become this incredibly powerful metaphor that gives a real, tangible shape to one of the most misunderstood conditions out there, clinical depression. So where did this whole idea of a black dog even come from? And why has it resonated with so many people? Well, the answer really lies in its power to make an internal, totally invisible struggle feel concrete and real.
The term itself has been around for a while, most famously used by Winston Churchill to describe his own bouts of darkness. But it was an author and illustrator named Matthew Johnstone who back in 2005 took that phrase and gave it a simple yet profound visual identity. His book, I Had a Black Dog, basically transformed the metaphor from a personal little phrase into a shared global language.
And that was really Johnston's whole mission. He knew from his own life that words, they just don't cut it when you're trying to explain depression. I mean, how do you describe a feeling of absolute nothingness? How do you explain that bone-deep exhaustion? His solution was brilliant. He drew it. He gave this invisible illness a form that people could finally see and begin to understand.
Okay, so what does this black dog do exactly? It's so important to get this. It isn't just about feeling sad. For so many people, the real gut punch of the experience is about what the dog takes away from you.
This quote from Johnston's book it hits the nail on the head. It describes that profound and frankly, confusing experience where the things you used to love, your hobbies, seeing friends, even your favorite food, suddenly feel completely empty and colorless. And there's actually a clinical term for this.
It's called anhedonia. And look, this is not about choosing to be unhappy. It's like the brain's entire reward system has just gone offline. You can go through the motions of doing something you know you should enjoy, but that feeling of pleasure, of joy, it just never arrives.
Now, Johnston's illustration for this is just perfect. Imagine you're trying to fly a kite. You're doing everything right. You've got the kite, there's wind, you're holding the string, but then the black dog just comes over and sits right on the kite string. The kite can't fly. It's such a powerful image for the immense frustration of depression. You are trying to feel better, but the illness itself is like a physical weight blocking any path to joy. So on top of stealing your joy, there's this other massive hidden burden that comes with the black dog. And that's the immense, draining effort it takes just to appear okay to everyone else. This is such a crucial point. People living with depression often become absolute masters of disguise. They build up this social mask to hide what's really going on inside. But keeping that mask on, maintaining that lie, it is utterly exhausting. Sometimes it's even more tiring than the depression itself. You can see this so clearly in the drawings. On the surface, there's a person smiling, they're at work, they're functioning, but the illustration shows you the reality. There is a huge, heavy black dog right there, looming over them, literally pinning them down. It's this constant, invisible battle happening just behind the smile. And to really drive this point home, Johnston makes this powerful comparison. He asks us to just imagine trying to hide a physical illness like diabetes or epilepsy. It sounds absurd, right? Well, by framing it that way, he makes it crystal clear that depression is not a weakness, it's not a character flaw, it's not a choice. It is a legitimate health condition that deserves to be treated with the same seriousness and compassion.
So if this dog is such a powerful and persistent presence, what in the world can be done about it? This is where the story takes a turn, moving from the struggle to actual strategies and offering a message of hope that's really grounded in reality.
The book lays out a really practical toolkit for managing the black dog. And look, it's not a magic pill, but it is a combination of real, proactive strategies. Things like physical exercise, getting professional help through therapy, and maybe the bravest step of all, being honest with yourself and with others about what's going on. And here's the crucial point. The story doesn't end with the dog just vanishing into thin air. Because for many, that's just not how it works. Instead, the goal is to tame it, to understand its patterns, to know what triggers it, and to learn how to put it on a leash, making it smaller and way more manageable. It's all about regaining a sense of control.
So this all brings us to the big question, right? Why does this one little metaphor matter so much? Why has this simple drawing of a dog had such a massive impact on how we talk about mental health all over the world?
This really helps spell it out. The black dog isn't just having a bad week or the winter blues. It's chronic, it sticks around, it's often hidden, while people are usually pretty open about feeling burned out, and it's often accompanied by this deep, irrational guilt. It requires a whole toolkit to manage, unlike situational sadness that might get better with some rest or a change of pace. Making that distinction is absolutely vital for building real understanding.
So in the end, the real magic of the black dog metaphor is its simplicity. It gives a name and a face to an internal chaos, creating a shared language. It helps friends and family finally build empathy for something they can't see. And maybe most importantly, it helps separate the person from their illness. You are not your depression. You are a person who has a black dog. That separation right there is often the very first step toward chipping away at stigma and feeling less alone. And that really leaves us with this one final thought. The work of Matthew Johnstone shows us that sometimes the best way to tackle a huge, complex subject isn't with dense medical textbooks, but with a simple, honest drawing. It proves that art and metaphor can build these incredible bridges of understanding where words alone might fail, changing the entire conversation, one powerful image at a time.